Hello friends, welcome to the Hight Mountain channel. Today, I'll be talking about a common challenge we all face, finding a job we love. I'll share tips on how you can discover a job you're passionate about, and how you can both work and earn money while staying happy. If you subscribe to my channel and like the videos, it would make me very happy. What is this job we love, and why is everyone looking for it? Why can't anyone find it, or end up working in a job they think they've found but end up hating for their entire lives? I know I've asked a lot of questions. I'll answer them all, don't worry. But first, you need to realize this: all those motivational speakers, elders, teachers, they all kept telling us that the important thing is to do a job we love. But none of them explained how to find the job we love. Because they don't know either. Because of them, we started searching for the job we love in the wrong ways. And you're probably still searching in the wrong way. Contrary to what you think, one way to love a job is for it to stress you out. Surprised, aren't you? You'll be even more surprised, and by the end of the video, you'll find the job you love. If I say that, I'd be lying. I won't sell you dreams in this video. No one will hand you the job you love on a silver platter. I will guide you on how to find the job you love. The rest is up to you, but I promise you this: after watching this video, discovering the job you love using that guide will become easier. If you're ready, our guide starts with changing the source of dopamine. First, answer this question: how do we enjoy ourselves? We enjoy playing video games, scrolling through social media, watching TV shows and movies, for example. So, what gives us this feeling of pleasure? What's happening in our brains at that moment that makes these activities feel so easy and fun for us? Understanding this plays a critical role in finding the job we love. In every activity that gives you pleasure, your brain releases dopamine intensely. Dopamine is simply a neurotransmitter that motivates you to do an activity. At the end of the day, you're doing everything for the release of dopamine. The way to find a job that brings us joy is also through this. We need to discover the job that triggers dopamine for us, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Throughout history, humanity has evolved to survive in the best possible way, with dopamine playing a critical role in this process. While dopamine is often labeled as harmful today, it is a necessary hormone for our survival. In fact, an experiment revealed that mice whose dopamine release was blocked died. In the experiment, 2 mice were placed in identical boxes, each containing a lever, and when the lever was pushed, the mice were fed. The boxes were entirely the same, but dopamine release was blocked in one of the mice. In the first scenario, the mice were placed close to the lever, and both mice pulled the lever to receive their food. In the second experiment, the mice were placed further away from the lever. The first mouse controlled the distance and pulled the lever to reach its food, but the second mouse, which had blocked dopamine release, waited in place and died of hunger. Just like for mice, it is impossible for humans to perform any activity without dopamine. This means we understand the importance of dopamine in motivating us for an activity, even if it involves simply eating. Activities motivated by dopamine can be categorized into consumption and production. Consumption activities triggered by dopamine are termed as addiction. Activities such as gaming addiction, social media addiction, smoking, and alcohol addiction fall into this category. Activities where we produce something are done repeatedly thanks to the released dopamine, and we refer to this as passion. Making music, drawing, or producing these videos, like mine, are examples of this category. Of course, any activity that contributes, such as reading a book or studying, can also be called value production. To find the work we love, our passion, the first thing we need to do is change the source from which we release dopamine, stored within us. Especially in today's world, obtaining dopamine the easy way is quite simple. The simplest example is the phone in your hand, acting like a dopamine machine. The supply of real videos, movies, series, and games to watch and play never ends, and they provide us with dopamine releases effortlessly from the comfort of where we lie. Therefore, discovering the work you love becomes impossible because no productive activity will bring you pleasure. The dopamine rush from a new occurrence every 5 seconds while lying down will never be matched by the work you do. If you want to discover the passion for the work you love, you first need to cut off these artificial, unhealthy sources of dopamine. Reduce or, if possible, quit using social media, play fewer computer games and watch fewer movies and series. Your brain, unable to get dopamine from here, will eventually start looking for different sources, and you will find it in productive activities. What used to seem boring to you before will start to become enjoyable. The thing you call a job must make money for you, and money is not earned by consuming. Money is given to you in exchange for a value you produce, and we have shifted the dopamine source from consumption to production. But finding the work you love is not that easy. Now we have come to think about how to find the right one among these production activities, our loved work, and passion. Whether it's production or consumption, all our favorite activities have a common point: time flows like water when we do them. When you think you got lost in social media, your sense of time is lost, right? You say to yourself, wow, when did an hour pass? Or when playing computer games, a fun day with close friends ends quickly. Now, think the opposite of this. When studying or going to work, you're counting minutes for it to end. If time seems to slow down, and you think, I wish time at work passed as quickly as when I play computer games. I have some exciting news for you. We call it lost state, a state where time flows like water, and our brain loses its sense of time. Whether you realize it or not, when you watch a movie or play video games, you enter a flow state. The key to enjoying your work is finding a job where you can enter this flow state. So, how do I enter this thing called flow state? Or how do I know if I've entered it? I'll explain everything. We're at the most critical point of our guide. Listen carefully. The biggest indicator that you've entered the flow state is losing your sense of time. If you lift your head and say, wow, how did 2 hours pass so quickly? Congratulations. You've had a 2-hour working session in the flow state, and I have even better news for you. This 2-hour session is equivalent to a 4-hour session. Because when you're in the flow state, you activate superhero mode. Research shows that being in the flow state increases creativity by 400% to 700%, learning speed by 20,000%, and productivity by 300%. In this state, you feel like there is no world around you. You are only focused on the activity you're doing, and you are in a super-focused state. Perhaps you work with full focus for 4 to 5 hours, and it feels short to you. It seems impossible for you, who grabs your phone to watch reels after 5 minutes of sitting down to work, but of course, doing what you love makes it feel this way. Here, once again, the events are linked to dopamine. Because during the flow state, your brain releases dopamine intensely and regularly. This is a beautiful phenomenon where dopamine keeps your attention in a state of pure focus, allowing time to flow seamlessly and making the activity enjoyable for you. However, let's talk about some harsh realities as well. You can't enter the flow state while doing every activity. There are certain conditions for it. The first condition is that the activity you are engaged in should be suitable for your skill and level. If you try to do something way above your skill level, you'll get bored when you can't perform well, and eventually, you start losing interest. Continuous losing becomes less enjoyable, and you get bored. Would your friend enjoy this? Well, this question leads us to the second condition: the activity should not be too easy either. It should challenge you, put you under stress. We can illustrate this best with computer games. Imagine playing the same FIFA match with your 3-year-old cousin. It feels like there's no opponent. You score 6 to 7 goals in every match. Do you think you'd enjoy that? Perhaps initially, but soon you'll start getting bored. Struggling and not getting bored over time are crucial to entering the flow state. Competitive games with a ranking system like Valorant and LOL are excellent examples of this. Thanks to the game's ranking system, you play matches against players who are close to your skill level. This makes the matches competitive and puts you in a flow state. Therefore, competitive games, with their ranking systems, can make you addicted, as opposed to story-focused games. This concept can also be applied to professional life. Someone who packages boxes in a factory can never enter the flow state. This is because they are constantly doing the same movement, and although it may be physically demanding, it is not mentally challenging, making it a monotonous activity. After all, nobody dreams of being a factory worker, right? It becomes a necessity, and we can't say that we enjoy it, so please don't misunderstand. I'm not belittling any profession here. Every job is valuable. However, we must face the facts. The third condition for entering the flow state is that your work can develop over time. Our box packer, as long as they continue the same packaging routine, won't see much improvement in this activity. What can they do at a maximum? On the other hand, a programmer can evolve over time by writing better code, and feeling that your work is improving is essential to entering the flow state. The accountant with a desk job has limited room for development in their profession. This could result from not enjoying their work because any activity without a sense of progress becomes tedious. To transition into the Superman mode or the flow state, you need to know yourself. If you're passionate about history, you won't notice the passage of time while studying history, you'll enter the flow state. However, the same might not apply to mathematics. If you force yourself to study it reluctantly or pursue engineering just for the sake of earning more money, you won't enter the flow state throughout your life, and you won't find joy in what you do. Take a moment to think about when time flows effortlessly for you. Then, try to combine that activity with a profession. I've shared a lot, but consider these points. I understand that your mind is confused, I know. Let's summarize the 4 elements required to enter the flow state. The difficulty and ease of the task should be balanced. The task at hand should be easy enough not to cause boredom but challenging enough to engage the individual. Should allow for personal development. The task should provide opportunities for personal growth, fostering continuous learning and progress. Relevance to interests. The task should align with the individual's interests, allowing them to naturally focus on subjects they are passionate about. Must be enjoyable. Most importantly, to enter the flow state, one must love the task at hand. This ensures the task is carried out with passion. To understand why such a simple concept is not applied by most people, one could consider allowing children to explore their favorite activities during childhood. Unfortunately, our education system does not permit this. The current education system is characterized by a memorization-based structure. Starting from the 2nd grade, it follows a theoretical system involving practice exams, memorization of question types, and formulas. It is important not to forget that every individual has multiple passions. Discovering and focusing on these passions allows a person to enter the flow state. However, applying this simple formula is not typically taught. Students often study subjects they do not enjoy, leading to dissatisfaction in their future careers. To address this issue, the number of practical lessons simulating professional life should be increased from a young age. This way, children can explore subjects of interest and have the chance to develop themselves in those areas. This could ultimately lead to a happier and more motivated professional life. He takes immense pleasure in going to school. I've talked about so many things, and I know your head must be spinning. In summary, if you want to find a job you love, first lift your head from your phone, straighten out your mind, and start seeking dopamine in new activities. Then observe the activities in your life where you produce value, list those in which time flies by, and you enter a state of flow. From these activities, pick the one that could turn into a profession, with financial value, that is the job you truly love. Here, there should be no misunderstanding, there is no guarantee that you will be in a state of flow, enjoying every second of your job. Every job has its dull aspects. If I give myself as an example, I love the editing part of video production. I almost spent 20 hours sitting in front of the computer editing the last video, and those 20 hours passed like water. At the end of the day, I endure the monotony because I love the communication aspect, adding value to people, and that's why I tolerate the tedious parts. Yes, dealing with this education system can indeed be challenging, but it's not impossible. Continue to search for work that puts you in a state of flow, where time passes effortlessly. Find work that makes you feel like it's not an obligation but rather an enjoyable activity. While doing all this, remember that everyone is a unique individual. You are too, and some of us will have to do work that we may not necessarily enjoy. Life is not all rosy, but if you're watching this video, it means you're on the right path. At the end of the day, those who develop themselves rather than idly lounging around will achieve the work they love. While others are brainwashing themselves with instant gratifications on their phones day and night, you will be working towards a job you love because of the effort you're putting in now. While they deceive themselves with artificial sources of happiness, you will attain real, boundless happiness. Honestly, can you find a job you love? I don't know, but if you do, never let it go. Even if you don't believe anything I said in this video, believe what I'm saying right now. There's nothing like making money from doing what you love. It feels like earning money while playing a game, and everyone deserves to experience that, including me. Hopefully, we all succeed together, and remember, the best job for you is the one you love. Please don't leave this life without unleashing your true potential. People carry the heaviest burden when they fail to realize their potential. We've come to the end of our video, friends. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.